welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Bookmas. This is the penultimate video going up. There'll be another one in a couple of days and then we are done with Bookmas, which I have really been enjoying it. I thank you so much for every kind of engagement. It has not gone unnoticed and it's been really appreciated. But I wanted to talk today a little bit about bookish goals that I had going in for 2026. For 2025, I really didn't set myself any other than kind of just a bit of a number on Goodreads. But for 2026, there are a couple of areas that I really want to focus on. And those main two are not buying any books or really limiting the books that I buy, and also reading from my physical TBR backlist. And these two goals are the biggest things that I'm really going to be putting my energy into, and any other kind of like reading challenge, year-long goal, anything like that is going to kind of come secondary to these, and also maybe just kind of work in conjunction with these to really try and push these two goals forward. So starting first of all with my book buying ban, I'm actually kind of doing this across many areas of my life. I'm going to kind of try and do a bit of a no or slash low buy year. The first 3 months in particular are going to be really low. I've got a quite heavy tattoo, heavy in price, booked in for April. It's the same artist that did this big one on my arm here, and it's going to be a similar size and a similar cost on this arm. She basically moved to Australia and is coming back to do a guest spot, so I managed to swoop in and grab one of those while she's here because I wanted a matching one on both arms. So that has been booked in and that is planned, so I know that's coming. So basically until that point I'm really going to be going on a life low buy. But for books, I'm going to be doing a bit of a book buying ban, and the way that I'm going to kind of incorporate this is with my new TBR game. I'm going to talk about this in detail of how the game is going to work and whatnot in January's TBR, but essentially in this game it's going to be kind of a board game. I'm going to have to win 10 kind of battles, we'll say. I have to win all 10 to kind of break the book buying ban, to break the book buying curse, shall we say. So essentially it's a minimum of 10 months, but it could be longer if I do not succeed in finishing those months TBRs. I will explain all about that in January's TBR. I'm still fine-tuning the details, but it's something I'm really looking forward to for next year. I do have a couple of exceptions to this. I am going to be sticking with my monthly Broken Binding book series. These are all fantasy series that have been complete. You know what they are before going into them, and you get one skip a year. I have yet to get to skip any of these, but this is the one kind of book box that I'm allowing myself. I have cancelled every other book subscription box that I have. I am also potentially going to let myself, obviously for like my birthday, I will maybe ask for books for that. That's for a fair game. If I get any kind of money in terms of gift cards, that's fine. There is One World Book Day book that I will be coming out that I will be buying. It's by A.F. Stedman, the author of the Scanner series. She has done a little story for World Book Day. That's not going to cost a lot of money, and I just want it because also I imagine it's going to be quite a limited thing. And then also special editions, but for books that I have read. Have to have read the books. Cannot buy special editions for books that I have not read. There is only one that's on my radar. The Illumicrate versions of the Six of Crows Crooked Kingdom duology. I will be buying this in January, hopefully. But otherwise, yeah, nothing. I am anticipating really not buying many books at all. Really going to use my library, really going to use BorrowBox. I've got Spotify and I pay for BookBeat. So many avenues in which I can listen to audiobooks, borrow physical books from my library, and I have a huge TBR. There's no reason to be buying new books in 2026, at least for 10 months. Potentially 10 consecutive months, but it might end up being longer than that. So then when it comes to reading my physical TBR backlist, I have this idea of a video that I want to do in a very similar vein to like Reader on Halls, Becca and the Books is Serve It or Scrap It, any kind of that. It's a similar format, but for me, it's going to be basically looking at my physical TBR backlist. For me, this is any books bought before 2024. So 2023 and before. I have 213 of these books. I've been tracking it. I've got their own little shelf on Goodreads, and I really want to make a good dent in that in 2026. My overall goal is to have that number to 0 by the end of the decade. So when 2030 comes around, I want this to be at 0. And then in 2030, I can start doing the same thing, but books bought from 2024 and onwards. So it's a long haul goal. It's one that I've got planned in my head for quite a while. Something I really want to do. It's only like 4 years. So in 2026, I'd love to be able to read or DNF and unhaul 53 of these books, which would take my total down to 160 of these books left. I'm planning on doing a whole vlog series about this. I'd love to be able to do one a month, but maybe it's going to more realistically be one every 2 months, where I kind of do a thing where I in some random way pick the books, but they're going to be reader on haul wise. I probably will be a bit lenient and give some books maybe a second chance if I'm really not feeling it. All of that will be discussed in future videos, but that's definitely the second focus that I want to do. And then I can kind of concentrate, once all of those old books are read or unhauled or DNF'd, I can then really look at the newer ones that I'm reading. Don't feel necessarily that my reading taste has necessarily changed. I feel like I am someone that reads a little bit of everything and enjoys a little bit of everything, and this backlist is full of a little bit of everything. So I feel like I still want to give every book in this backlist a real shot, give it a go and see if I like it. but I might not, and then I can DNF, unhaul, and finally have my answers. That is a big goal. So those two are the main kind of big goals that I have for myself for 2026 in terms of reading. But I do have some other things that I want to do. I want to do a load of more year challenges. I am still doing Herkyed. I really need to read a November book, running out of time, but I am still doing Herkyed, so I'd love to be able to finish that. Also, year-long wise, I think I'd like to do Buzzwordathon again. I didn't do that last year. I did the year before and really enjoyed it. Again, though, I'm not going to be overly strict in that. If I don't hit some months, I don't hit some months. I know Leandra from Leandra the TBR Zero has come out with a year-long reading challenge, which I would love to be able to participate in. So yeah, definitely want to participate in year-long ones. I'm sure I'll find more along the way, or ones might crop up at different times. I obviously have my 26 and 26 that I'd love to read, so that for me is the year-long challenge. There are definitely loads on my radar that I'm interested in, but none that I'm going to be like hardcore ride or die, need to make sure I get this complete. Everything's going to be quite casual because I have my own like personal real motivator goals that I want to do. Now for my actual reading numbers, the last 2 years I've put on my Goodreads 100 books a year, and I'm going to do that again for 2026. I have hit it the last 2 years as well, which is quite nice. However, when I do this, my number in my head is that I want 52 of them to be physically read books, so that I'm physically reading at least one physical book a week, shall I say. This is that's the main goal, and then the other books can be made out of manga, audiobooks, mixed books, whatever. I just really like the idea of physically reading one book a week, really incorporate reading into my daily life. Sometimes I find that hard to, I don't really have a fixed schedule for that. So I'm going to work on really doing that, because I don't really like reading before bed in my bedroom, making sure I have the time either in the morning or just before bed when I'm sitting downstairs to read. For me, bed is not a place that I read at all. So yeah, I definitely want to do that and try and incorporate reading into my schedule a bit more, but physically reading one book a week is definitely my goal. Also, I speak sometimes about manga on my channel, but I really want to, in 2026, put a bit of a focus on that. Not necessarily in content, but for my own reading. I don't have my manga collection kind of tracked or documented anywhere, so I do need to sit and do that and kind of figure out exactly what series is that I'm still in the middle of, which ones I need to restart so I can finish, and all of that. I want to make a big spreadsheet for them. But again, I would like to read at least 52 volumes of manga. Again, that's one a week, which is absolutely nothing for a volume of manga when they take about an hour sometimes to read, so that is 100% doable. I haven't really been buying much manga, so my physical collection has kind of stayed roughly the same over the years. I would like to maybe expand it and buy some new series, but yeah, I want to carry on with what I've got, read what I've got, and then I also, because I am interested in starting to maybe pay for some manga apps, Viz Media has a couple of ones that I'm interested in, but I don't want to do that while I still have a bunch of physical ones that I need to read. So for at least of a minimum 52 volumes of manga I would love to read in 2026, but I also want to track and like document and plan out all of my collection in like a spreadsheet and something, just so then I know exactly how much I have to read, and then maybe I can document that, and maybe I can make a video and share about it and whatnot. And then lastly, I have briefly mentioned this, but I really want to get the bang for my buck for my subscriptions that I pay for, which is Spotify and BookBeat. I get, at the moment, 40 hours on BookBeat and 15 hours on Spotify. That is so many hours, so many audiobooks that I could be getting through. So I really want to make sure that I'm actually using those hours every single month, and I'm going to really try tracking them. I haven't made my reading journal yet. I'm very late to this, but when I make my reading journal, I'm going to have like a spreadsheet or a page or whatever where I'm actually tracking my usage for these apps, because if I'm finding I'm not using them, BookBeat, I could drop my hours down to 20, and Spotify I'm not going to cancel because I use it for the Spotify music. So that's going to be like, making sure that I'm actually using them. If I can't find books on my library, Spotify usually has them. So definitely a place to go for audiobooks, because neither of them are credits. They're not ones that I have to do like whole audiobooks in. They're instead ones that I could like dip in and out of books that I'm physically reading as well. So I just, need to make sure I am tracking them and getting my bang for my buck with these two subscription services, or I need to stop paying, at least for BookBeat, if I'm going to do that. I do want to work on getting the amount of series that I'm reading down, but I don't have this tracked anywhere. I think I'm well over 20 series, so I think I'd like to maybe end the year on 15, but I don't have a definitive number of where I'm actually at. Again, I need to maybe sit down and track it and plan it all out, and I would like to do some reading every series with me kind of vlogs. I like watching them. I'd like to kind of do them as well, where I just kind of concentrate on reading different series and whatnot, but I need to track it to see where my starting point is, because I'm not quite sure yet. That is a again, a little goal that is in the back of my mind. In terms of BookTube, I don't really want to set myself a goal or a target that is out of my hands, like in terms of like maybe reach a certain subscriber count, or because that's something I have no control over. I can do everything right. I could pick the right kind of vlogs, pick the right kind of thumbnails, pick the right kind of titles, and still people might not click on my videos, and that is absolutely fine. So I really didn't want to kind of pick a goal in that sense, but instead I wanted to pick a goal that I have control over, and that is I really want to do at least one video and one short a week. I feel like December has really proven to myself that I can do a video. I'm doing a video or a short a day so far this month, and so I absolutely can do one video, one short a week. I have many ideas that I can do, and yeah, like this video now I'm filming after work and it needs to go up tonight, so like there is no excuse of why I can't spend 1 week preparing one video. So that is something that I'm going to be aiming to do as well in 2026, a video and a short every single week. Other platforms, I don't know, but for YouTube, that is definitely the goal. And then as long as I'm really happy with the content that I'm putting out there and the things that I'm doing, that for me is going to be, that's where that goal is. You know, any outcome from that is the outcome from that, but it's kind of looking at what I have control over and am I actually proud of it? And then that's the kind of overall goal for that. I do definitely want to work on my personal engagement in BookTube. I don't know why, for me, comments and responding to people's comments feels like a computer job, if that makes sense. And so I don't go on my computer a lot other than to edit videos. So I put it off and then it feels like it's been too long. But I've really tried to, over BookTube span, really get better at that. And I've fallen a bit behind because like I've been working every day for the last week. Up to Christmas, I work in a supermarket. It's been manic. So like it has fallen a bit behind, especially with uploading every day, but it's definitely something when I'm just doing one video and one short a week that I really want to make sure I put my energy into, and also commenting and interacting more with creators that I love watching as well. Definitely a bit of a challenge for me. I have a little bit of social anxiety around it, but it's something that I really do want to push myself to do more because I really appreciate people interacting with my videos, taking their time out of their day to watch my videos and to interact with it is absolutely lovely. I always really appreciate it, and so I want to make sure I'm actually showing that. So that is a personal goal for me that, again, I have control over myself, so something I really want to do. All of this said, all of these kind of goals mentioned, the main goals are to like what I'm reading, to enjoy what I'm reading, to read what I love, and to have a good time with it, and to enjoy the content I'm making. Those are the ultimate goals at the end of the day, because that is what BookTube is for me. It is a hobby, it's something I love doing, and so yeah, enjoyment is the #1 goal above everything else. So yeah, those are some of my BookTube goals though for my BookTube and my reading for 2026. If you have any reading goals that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear them. If you don't want to share anything though, but you'd like to let me know you are here, feel free to leave me a little Santa emoji. We are on the run up to Christmas now. It's the 21st. Today definitely felt like Christmas at work, but in like a way that was fun. To be honest, I ended up being in the bakery, so I wasn't actually on the shop floor, which was really nice. I have 2 days left of work and then I have 4 days off where I'm going to be going home and spending time with my family. So very excited about that. I thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. As always, I'll see you in a couple more days for the final video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.